Okay, how do you feel you would contrast with such a comedian as Lenny Bruce?
Oh, contrast? I don't know. We have things that were... I don't know about the word contrast there. I think he was he was my favorite comedian, and is. You know, I exerted a lot of influence on what I do, but I don't think it's really very evident in my work. I think you have to be looking to notice similarities. It's true of Jonathan Winters, too, and other people that influenced me, Bob and Ray and Steve Allen, a lot of guys.
Would you consider going to Vietnam with Bob Hope?
No.
How about with Jane Fonda?
No, I don't want to go there at all.
When was the last time you worried about a lawsuit?
About 4 years ago.
From Post, perhaps?
No. Volkswagen accident.
How many times you considered completely throwing out a routine? Like I saw you do one, like Bob and Al's Insurance Company, you know? And you threw it out that's the last time I saw it.
Yeah, I still intend to use that sometimes. It's a thing about companies' names, but I don't generally throw them away if they're well thought out and they took a lot of time. It's just sometimes I forget them. I'm doing other things now that keep me busy.
Like, there are a lot of class clowns, right?
Yeah.
How come, you know, every class is like 6 or 7. How come you were the one that became the comedian?
Because I don't know, I felt that I was really good at it, not just, you know, I thought about it a lot, and I tried to think of things. I imitated people. I went out of my way to study people, and I just saw it was a thing I liked. I liked acting and all that, and this was a little easier because you didn't have to do memory work or be in a play. You could just be your own actor and make stuff up. So that appealed to my self-expression, you know.
How did you get a character like Congolia Breckenridge? I mean,
well,
where's that?
She sounds like a lady in my neighborhood.
Lady who talk like that, you know. And I've made up the face. I made the face screwy. Yeah. And I exaggerate her a lot, but she was essentially, you know, a real lady.
Is the material mainly from material? I mean, like experience, like all this stuff.
It is now. It used to be that I did takeoffs, you know, and parodies. I did the Wino and the Ladies on shows and everything. But stuff I do now is all kind of personal statement and stuff that I was into or that we're all into, you know, whatever.
Well, like, you were influenced by people like Bob and Ray and Lenny Bruce. Who influenced you not to become a comedian? His mother.
No, my mother was very groovy about the whole thing. She bought me a tape recorder at a time, like when I was graduating from 8th grade, that they weren't that common. They were big and cumbersome and expensive, and she made sure I had that because it seemed to be where my head was. Everybody around me always encouraged me to self-expression, I must say.
Now I'm watching these Tom Jones repeats, and you're really a straight guy on it. When did you first start turning, and why?
About 2 years ago, and I was just ready for a lot of changes, personally and professionally. I was just ready for them. I wasn't getting what I want out of my performing because the people weren't, you know, they were like middle-class nightclub goers, and they weren't giving me any rewarding experience or anything. It was just do laughs and get off. I had a lot of things ready. I found out I didn't want to act. I wanted to be a monologist, and then some acid helped everything come down because I was ready, and then the acid opened the doors, you know.
Well, just because you like are changed like different as far as your attitude is concerned, did you have to like decide that you would look different now?
Well, I had always hung out with whatever you call long hair, counterculture, street, youth-oriented audience. You know, I mean, that was always the people I hung out with. When I was doing those numbers in that straight suit and everything, I never hung out like with Don Adams or anybody like that. I didn't know any of those people, man. I hung out with musicians and people in groups and, you know, street people that I knew. And so when I let myself go, it was only to be like the people I'd been with all along. You know, it was just to be more comfortable with my peers, that's all.
When was the last time you ever tried to use one of those 7 words on television?
Never have. Never did try to get one of those in.
Exactly. How much of the stuff you do on stage is improvisational, and how much is planned beforehand?
Improvisational.
All of it, even the stuff that is now set and kind of, you know, in my mind, I have to know where to go from A to B to C, and, you know how to work the routine. Even stuff like that began as improvisational, or certainly semi. And now some of it is strictly memorized, but I try to arrive at the thing differently each night. Like I know the last lines I want in certain things, but like telling the Catholic thing, I never tell that the same 2 times. The shit thing is pretty organized because it kind of has to go that way. But the other thing can be looser. There are things in every level of looseness in my show. They tend to get tighter as time goes on, and I tend, like tonight, I was trying to break some things down and do some things differently just to relieve the rhythm for myself. You know, you get into that occasionally.
Well, at the beginning of the show, you said you do, you know, for an audience and with and to. And what do you really consider it? You know, is it really to an audience or for?
It is. It's in their name. What it really amounts to is the comedian, I think, is kind of speaks in the name of people in a way. He's the one who said, I call what I do ooh yeah comedy, because people hear it and they say, ooh yeah, hey, I remember that. And that's all I really want to do with my comedy, is remind people how universal we are and our experiences are, how similar we all are. That's the one thing comedy can do, is to make people realize that sameness, you know, which is a starting point for a lot of other things.
I just get the thing with the, like with the Wine on News, and the other one with the, you know, like I think you're trying to take off like Don Amitri's brother. You do a routine about the records.
Oh, I know.
The record company.
400,000 American musical favorites, yeah. That's a takeoff on Eddie Albert and all those Don Wilson, all those people you trust, right? And that's a goodie piece. I may do it tomorrow night on Carson. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do there tomorrow night. Yeah. It's just the thing I thought of when I saw it on TV, you know. Hey, well, maybe I'll tell about it, you know, maybe I can, yeah.
We walked out of the store.
Hey, maybe we can get tickets tomorrow.
Well, they only give me two, man. My mother and aunt are coming down. They always do. They come every time.
I'll give you tickets, but I'm not going to give you. Okay, Jim.
Yeah.
I'll bring it to more raisins tomorrow.
I'll definitely try to mention the raisin thing, though, because that's freaky. I really appreciate it.
Actually, how did your parents really feel when they said, no, he's not going to be a comedian, he's going to college tomorrow? You know?
No, I didn't have a father at that time. He died when I was real young, and my mother always wanted me to do the dopey advertising business trip, because she was into that, and she wanted me to be an ad man and all that. But she knew right away that I was good at what I did. I mean, I became a disc jockey while I was still 18, and she saw that that was results. I mean, these guys hired me, so she felt cool, let them go, you know.
Is there like a stereotype Carlin fan? You know, like the guy that shows up at every concert, or the whole like kind of an attitude of the concert?
Like that, no.
No, well, there's like a type of person. It's not like.
I haven't noticed it though. You see, I mean, I haven't been doing it long enough in concerts to even see anything like that.
Do you look at your audience when you talk? Because like I can't.
I try to make some eye contact. Yeah, like especially if it's a hard place to make it. I try to get it done early.
Someone. We'll be locked in open.
So if you think of anything else, ask me. I'll put on my coat.
Right. Well, like, what kind of ability do you consider? Like, do you see people as they are, or as you hope them to be, or as they are into whatever?
I see all of that. I've always been into grass, and I've always existed on a lot of levels and looked at a lot of things and tried to be them and be me and be their cousin and be every one of them. And it's part of the writer in me to try to live everyone I see in a sense, for a minute or a second or a week or whatever. And I see a lot of what people are. I feel I do.
And do you accept things written by other people?
No, I've never used any submitted material, no. I wouldn't do this otherwise. My main job and my main fun is in thinking up this shit.
The following song is dedicated to Miss Anderson from George Carlin and the Gang. 1, 2, 3. It's raisins that make post raisin bread so wonderful. It's raisins that make post raisin bread so different. It's raisins that make post raisin bread so wonderful. More raisins, much more raisins, more raisins than you have ever seen. If you like raisins, fine juicy raisins, then you'll like raisin bread more. Raisin power.
That's the only thing.
That's true. Yeah, that's the way it was. Is that on the album?